Now we're going to get back to the top story, the vigil that took place in Newtown, Connecticut. The vigil that we just watched was very moving and very powerful. Joining us now from Port Washington is Susan Lipkins, a psychologist and nationally recognized expert in traumatic events affecting children and adolescents. Thank you very much for joining us. First off, your impressions, if you got a chance to see it, of the vigil.
I thought it was wonderful, and I think that it was a healing ceremony and that it brought the entire world together, and that I was most taken when the president read the names of the children, and I think that that was something that nobody could hold their tears back.
Absolutely, and you could hear people in the hall crying with each name that was read out. This town is going through so much right now that the process of moving down a road to healing, extremely difficult.
Yes, it will take a long time for them to heal. I think they're lucky because they have first responders from Yale University helping with the children and the parents so that they immediately had care. And I hope that they will continue to have that kind of care. It seems like that kind of community that will continue to band together both through faith and through psychology to help everyone.
How much of a role do you believe psychology is going to play in all of this? You're talking about children as young as 5, 6 years old.
Yes, I think it's going to play a huge role because these children, all children, have been traumatized. I think throughout the country and maybe the world, the children there are clearly traumatized. And it is easier for younger children to get through a trauma, but they need to have that response early on so that they're given the ability to talk about, write about, play, draw, do anything that's possible in order to communicate their thoughts and feelings. Children as young as 4, 5, 6, 7 do not really understand death, and it will be very hard for them to comprehend what happened here.
As you know, many parents are going to be faced with questions and then more questions. What should they say if they're getting that from their families and their children?
Well, the first thing is that they, as adults, need to be calm and centered because children will model your behavior. So if you're tense and anxious, they will pick that up and they will be tense and anxious. If you approach it with calmness and as though you are centered and can be the leader of your family, then that will give your child a sense of safety. Then you want to find out what the child knows about the event. They may have heard something. They may have heard little bits and pieces as you were talking over the phone or something from the television, and they may have a very skewed concept of what happened. So you want to find out what happened from their point of view, from their language, from their age group. And then you answer their questions and answer them only as to what they ask. You know, be truthful, but have short, brief answers. You want the children to elaborate. You don't want to elaborate. You don't want to give them too much information. And you want to try to normalize as quickly as possible, to try to keep the routines as normal as possible and as quickly as you can.
Do you think these are conversations that are going to be happening even tomorrow in school boards across the United States?
I think that there'll be conversations among children from the moment they get on the bus throughout the classrooms and, on the playground. And then I hope that the adults will be having the kinds of conversations that they need to have as well.
All right. It's an unbelievable story and just completely traumatic for everyone involved and by extension for the country, which is also almost directly involved with this. Susan Lipkins, a psychologist, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.